had a couple of days of practice since the Toledo game. Have you noticed any kind of residue from that game, any hangover or anything like that?
I haven't noticed anything like that. We got back on the football field extremely quickly because we have to make sure that we're prepared not only for Ball State but for the things that we want to do in the MAC championship game. So we were back on the field Saturday and Sunday and got into some early preparation for both of those situations.
This isn't just your last game of the season, it's your last game of the season before you play a championship game and a bowling after that, so probably vital to you, to the players, to have a really good game, get everything together given how last week went?
I think it's really important that we send the seniors out the right way. These seniors have accomplished a lot of things, and it would be really cool to send them out their last game in the Doy, which is what it is, you know, victorious in front of the family and friends. So I really put a emphasis on the rest of the football team, the freshmen, the sophomores, the juniors, to make sure that we put in our best effort this week to send these seniors out the right way.
Do you think it's hit them that this is their last time playing at home for the seniors?
I didn't catch your first part.
Do you think it's hit them that this is their last game, or do you think they're just kind of caught up in practice?
You know, I've been there, I've done that. It doesn't hit you until you start getting dressed, and then you start warming up on the field, and you realize that you're never going to be on that field again. And it will hit them, but most likely it hasn't hit them yet.
Have you noticed the underclassmen's response to that message to send the seniors out in the right way?
We're a close-knit group. We're a family. I really believe that they want to try to redeem themselves for obviously the loss last week, and to try to really make sure that these guys go out the best way that they can.
Will you be integrating Callaway into the offense at all this week, more than normal? Or
Status quo, just the same amount of reps he always gets. Like I mentioned after the game, James is going to start the football game, and James is the guy that got us here, and we want to ride him as long as we can.
Is there any thought given, and I asked this last week as well, knowing that you've got everything solved and everything is locked up, to maybe floating through this game going into the MAC championship game? I'm talking injury-wise here more than anything else.
This game is different than the Toledo game. If we have somebody that we think is questionable, that could not necessarily, they could be not half speed, but not be their best out there against Ball State, and he has a chance to be full speed for the championship game, then we would reverse our thinking and we would try to save that individual for the championship game.
And the thinking being that you wanted to have all the hands on deck for a rivalry game, right? Was that the reason for it, or?
No, the reason being that we want to have all hands on deck for the championship game.
Oh, no, I mean that you didn't feel that way for Toledo.
Yeah.
Was because
rivalry game is totally different. Absolutely different. Yes, sir.
Any part of you or the team want to play UT again in the MAC championship game, hoping for a Western win? You
know, UT has to earn the right to play us. And we're the East champs, and whoever's the West champ is, we'll be glad to play them.
Will you keep an eye on an eye because of the kickoff differential with the NIU game and Western game?
I'm going to keep my eye on Ball State and hopefully try to find a way to make sure we win that game for the seniors.
Will you talk a little bit about what you've seen on film about Ball State?
You know, what they have is a football team that's been in transition. It reminds me of the earlier part of our season with so many young men being hurt, rolling in and rolling out. You're watching one game, you're watching an individual, and you're getting a feel for them, then you go to the next game, that individual's not there. And it's very difficult to prepare for, obviously, but they've had a lot of injuries. Coach Pete does a great job over there. This is a program that's won a lot of games in the last 3 to 4 years. There's a lot of winners, and their senior class, you know, they know how to win. So they're one of the teams that are leading in turnover margin in the conference, and they take care of the football and they create turnovers, and that's the fastest way to lose a game, is by losing the turnover battle. So we want to make sure that we take care of the football. That's a good football team, and we need to give it the respect that it deserves.
How much of this football team is still a work in progress?
Our team?
Yeah.
You know, I think that some things are always developing, and then some things are coming to an end. We've got a group of seniors that have won a lot of football games, especially a lot of guys on defense, that you know, they're going to be leaving, and we're going to have to be replacing those guys with someone else. We're not thinking about 2015 right now. We're thinking about finishing out 2014 the same way. But I think a football team is always evolving and always changing, not only this week, but into the bowl game and, you know, even going into the MAC championship game. I think the team continues to evolve.
Last week, just kind of going back to Toledo again, but you say you don't want to comment on any rivalry game until you've been a part of it. What did you kind of take away from that game or learn about that game between the two schools?
Just how close the personnel is, how close the community is. You know, you've almost got boosters or friendships on both sides, which is good, which is really good. And how deep it's a deep rivalry, and you got to find a way to win it. You know, and we haven't had an opportunity to do that recently, and we'll get back and cross our T's and dot our I's and try to give us every opportunity the next time that thing comes up. But it's a good rivalry, and it's worthy of your best effort. There's no doubt about that.
Do you kind of get more of a sense of it? I mean, for those seniors to have not beat them, when you see the emotion that after they haven't beat them again, you kind of get more of a sense of that?
Yeah, you know, when you don't win, you always get a sense of that. When you don't win for a while, you really get a sense of that. And all it takes is, you know, just one win somewhere to open up the floodgates and get that thing turned back around. The reason why rivalries are rivalries is when you look over the long history of things, they're normally kind of balanced. You know, they're normally kind of 50-50, 500 for both sides. And you'll have streaks, but normally the scales are balanced. So we've got to punch a hole in there somewhere and try to balance those scales back out because they've been on a really good run.
Anything else for Coach?